In today's video, I'm going to show you the sickening effects of inflation on the economy and the housing market, starting with this shocking video clip.
I just looked through my Walmart history and I found this Walmart order from 2 years ago for the whole month worth of groceries. 45 items cost $126. A whole month of groceries just for me, basically. But I did notice this reorder all button, and I wanted to see how much it would cost now. Now, this order of 45 items for 1 month would have cost $414. That is 4 times more. How?
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Wait till you see the rest coming up. What's going on, my YouTube friends? This is Jerry Abbott, your #1 real estate resource here in beautiful Las Vegas. Hey guys, a couple of real quick things before we dive into the video. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to learn the cold hard facts about the US economy, the US real estate market, and specifically the Las Vegas real estate market, then definitely subscribe to the channel down below. Number 2, if you happen to like the content in today's video, make sure to press that thumbs up like button, guys. That would really help the channel out. And number 3, if you are thinking about relocating to beautiful Las Vegas, whether it's next month or next year, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for nearly 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When that time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. Let's dive into the video. So you saw in that opening clip the astonishing level of inflation that is absolutely crushing average everyday Americans. But instead of the mainstream media focusing in on stories like that, they let certain government officials and media personalities gaslight us and mislead us to utterly sickening levels, which you're about to see in this upcoming 30-second video clip.
Housing prices are up, stock prices are up, jobs are plentiful, wages are finally going up at the low end. The consumer's in pretty good shape.
But we're not looking at the very high inflation rates that we were seeing 2 years ago.
People are better off than they were pre-pandemic. So if you think prices are going to come down, definitely not the case. I think the prices are going to go through the roof.
Waiting on the real estate prices to come down or the interest rates to come down, don't wait. Go buy a house right now if you're ready, because the prices aren't going to come down, and if the interest rates come down, you can just refinance.
My goodness, how sickening is that? The average consumer is not doing well right now. We are certainly not better off than before the pandemic. And yeah, let's just risk our entire financial future by buying a home now near record prices and interest rates. The problem with these public figures and media personalities is that they are all either billionaires or multimillionaires who are completely out of touch with reality. But here's the worst part. Millions of people are seeing these public figures constantly gaslight us, and they're believing the hype, and they're constantly buying, which leads us right into this kind of a housing problem as you're about to see.
Home prices just continue to smash records. New numbers out today show that nationally, home prices increased by 6% year over year in April. We continue to see a situation where despite high borrowing costs, home prices go up and up. There's just not enough supply out there to keep up with all that demand. Some cities are seeing even bigger price jumps. We've seen a jump of 10% for San Diego, 9% for New York and Chicago. And listen, this just continues to be a divide between haves and have-nots, right? If you own your home, this is good news because it's boosting your net worth. But we know a lot of people are on the outside looking in. They want to buy, but they can't, not with these prices.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. I truly believe that the human psyche changed completely when the pandemic ended. People continue to throw caution to the wind, go into massive debt, and not care about the consequences of their reckless spending. And because of that reckless spending, along with inflation and corporate greed, prices across the entire economy have skyrocketed, especially when it comes to the housing market and its total lack of affordability. Check out this short video clip coming up.
The boomers had 13% interest rates in the 80s. We should be grateful that our interest rate's only 7.5%. Well, we got to run the numbers because in 1980, the median household income was $22,000. The median house price was only $47,000. The house price was just double the salary. And if you put down a 20% down payment and closing costs, it was only $11,000, which is half the yearly salary. So yes, you had a 13% interest rate, but because the house price was so small, your monthly payment with property taxes and homeowner insurance was only $485 a month, which is only 26% of your gross income. But fast forward to today in 2024, the median household income is $85,000, but the median house price is $415,000. It is 5x the salary. And a 20% down payment and closing cost is $100,000, which is more than our actual yearly salary. Now, our interest rate is only 7.5%, but the monthly payment is still $3,000. Someone making 85 grand cannot even qualify for this. If they were somehow able to, it would take 40% of their gross income, which would make them house poor.
Now, just to focus in more on the housing market, I want to drill down specifically to the Las Vegas area where I happen to be located, because I want to show you some examples of homes for sale here that I find ridiculously overpriced. Let's take a look at those right now. All right, so now let's drill down more specifically into the Las Vegas real estate market where I happen to be located. Now, I happen to be on the popular real estate platform Zillow that most of you guys are familiar with, and I want to show you a few examples of homes for sale here in the Las Vegas market to show you, in my opinion, homes that are either massively overpriced or have already been reduced in price. So let's start in the luxury price category first, and then we're going to work down closer to the average price point with a few of these examples coming up. So let's first start with this luxury Las Vegas home for sale. Now, I know the vast majority of people can't afford a multi-million-dollar home, but I just want to show you where the price point was originally on this home to where it is currently. So let's look on the left side of the screen. You can see that this home is currently listed at $2.8 million, but just above it in that small red text, it says price cut $348,000 that happened just a little bit less than a month ago. This is a 5-bedroom, 6-bath, 5,300 square foot home, but I want to show you in the price history down below where the price point originally was on this home to where it is now. All right, so focus your attention down at the bottom of the screen in that blue highlight. The date down there in the bottom left says 10/15/2021. So that's a little less than 3 years ago, where this home originally sold for $2.1 million. Now we fast forward and we look at the date right up there where it says 5/6/2024. The sellers decided to list this home about 2.5 years later for a whopping $3.85 million. They have not been able to find a buyer, and they have been massively reducing the price of this home. So you can see just above it, they reduced it to $3.45 million, then they reduced it down to $3.148 million, and now they reduced it all the way down to $2.8 million. Now, if we scroll up a little bit higher here, we take a look at this chart. Right where I'm moving the arrow here, right in this green part of the chart, this home was valued at about $2.2 to $2.3 million, but then you see this huge spike right there, and they listed it for $3.9 million. Now, I have no idea why the sellers think that when they buy a home for $2.1 or $2.2 million, that a couple of years later, they can then list this home for $3.9 million, which of course is not the true value, because you can see the drop off in the chart right there at the very end. And in fact, if you take a look right here, the estimated market value right here in the upper left, Zillow has it estimated at $2.6 million. So they had this home originally listed for $3.9, and the value of it, if we go by Zillow's estimate, is about $2.6 million. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the way the Zillow algorithm works, because sometimes they get the estimates right and sometimes they get it wrong. But in looking at this particular home, this is pretty accurate. So it just goes to show you that these home sellers who tried to list the home originally for $3.9 million has now come down $1 million in their price point, and it's still too high in my opinion, because again, a lot of these sellers don't really know the true value. They're trying to find a naive buyer, even at a luxury price point like this, and it happens even at average price points where sellers are far too aggressive on these original list prices, and this is not true value, and it's reflecting this because this particular home is showing a $1 million price reduction in just a couple of months. All right, so let's look at this second example of a home for sale here in the Las Vegas area. You can see on the left side of the screen, this home is listed at $1.2 million. It's a 6-bedroom, 4-bath, 3,700 square foot home. But more importantly, I want to show you down below the price history of this home and where it sold for just a couple of years ago compared to this current list price. All right, so again, take a look down at the bottom of the screen there in that blue highlight. The date down in the bottom left there says 2/9/2021. So that's a little over 3 years ago. This home sold for $620,000. Now, if we look at the date just above it, it says 2/24/2024. So just about 3 years to the date after this home was sold for $620,000, you can see the list price here of $1.2 million. So the sellers decided to list this home for about 100% more than they bought it just 3 years earlier. So take a look right there in the middle of the green chart. That's where the home sold in 2021 for $620,000. This is right before the explosion in real estate prices during the pandemic. So the home went up gradually, as you can see me moving the arrow here, up to about $850,000, and it held steady at about $800 to $850 this whole time. And then you see this big vertical spike here where the sellers decided to list the home for $1.2 million in February of this year, which of course makes no sense because the home wasn't even close to being valued at $1.2 million. But here's where I have, again, a big problem with Zillow. Take a look up here in the upper left side where it says estimated market value. Their Zestimate is showing a $1.14 million estimate. So again, this is what Zillow does. A lot of times these sellers just list the price at a crazy number. It's not true value. And then the Zestimate, the way Zillow estimates it, they happen to just match the seller list price. So this happens a lot with Zillow. So you have sellers being very greedy, and then you have Zillow matching these original list prices or getting pretty close to it. And it misleads buyers because the buyers automatically think that this is really what the true value is, and that's not the case. And in this example, it just goes to show you, even when the sellers are listing this home at this ridiculously high price and Zillow is matching it, they have not been able to find a buyer. Because again, in their history of real estate, no home goes from $600,000 to $1.2 million in 3 years. All right, so let's take a look at this third and final example of a home for sale here in the Las Vegas area. Now we're getting down very close to the average median home price, which in Las Vegas stands right now at about $475,000. You can see on the left side of the screen, this home is currently listed at $513,000, but just above it in that small red text, there's a price cut of $35,000 that happened just about a month ago. So again, this home was originally listed for $35,000 more just a few weeks ago, and now they've done a $35,000 price cut. This is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,500 square foot home. But again, I want to show you the original list price compared to where this current list price is now, just to show you how much it's dropped down from that original list price. All right, so again, focus your attention down at the bottom of the screen in that blue highlight. The date down there in the bottom left says 9/28/2023. So this is about 10 months ago. This home was originally listed for sale for $595,000. Now, if we look just above it, they did a massive price reduction about 2 months later down to $515,000. And then for whatever reason, in March of this year, they jumped the price back all the way up to $598,000. Now, this is very odd. I don't know why the sellers did something like this, but they have not been able to find a buyer at this price point of close to $600,000. So they've been reducing it slightly to the top number here where you see right next to my picture of now the current price of $513,000. So take a look here in the upper left corner there where it says estimated market value. Zillow has the home estimated right now at about $502,000, and that's about $10,000 lower than the current list price. Now again, I looked at the numbers on this because again, you can't really trust Zillow's estimates all the time. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. This is pretty accurate. So if we roll the clock back a little bit here and we go back just several months ago, if you were thinking about buying this home, you would have been paying close to $600,000. Now, several months later, this home has really dropped down to a true value number of about $500,000. So again, there are so many sellers still out there, and I find examples every single week, many of them, especially here in Las Vegas, where sellers are far too aggressive on that original list price. And again, it's not true value, because if you were patient and you waited it out right now because this home is still for sale, you would have been paying now $100,000 less than where they were from the original list price. So the bottom line is that this housing market and economy is a train that has completely gone off the tracks. Just take a look right next to me at a few of these things. We are adding $1 trillion to the U.S. national debt every 100 days. The average consumer credit card balance is now over $6,000, and people are falling behind on their payments. The U.S. housing market has just hit record home prices again, and people who are going out for fast food are seeing record fast food prices. Just take your pick. Everything is a complete disaster with what's going on in today's economy and housing market. So before we end today's video, I just want to give a shout out to my favorite comment from last week's video, and that goes to Joe. Now I'm going to put Joe's comments up here on full screen, which are really pretty shocking, and then I'm going to come back on the other side and comment on them. So Joe wrote, "Great video, Jerry, not related to rent, but I thought you might find this interesting. I received a homeowner's insurance quote from Allstate Insurance last week for my 6,500 square foot home in Daytona Beach, Florida. I currently pay $3,500 per year for homeowners. However, Allstate felt that I might be happier with an almost $18,000 policy. $18,000 for homeowners. WTF, Florida has gone totally nuts." So is that just insane or what? I know insurance premiums have gone through the roof in Florida, but this insurance company is looking to charge him 6 times more than what he was just paying last year. Whether you're Joe living in Florida and your insurance premiums have gone through the roof, or the first person in this video clip that I showed you guys where his Walmart bill went up nearly 4 times as much, I want to hear from you guys. I want you to drop me a comment down below. I read and respond to all of my comments. I want you to tell me the most expensive item in your life that's gone up the most since before the pandemic until now. And my favorite comment from this week's video, I'm going to give a direct on-screen shout out to in next week's video. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I also hope you appreciate my transparency. You know that I'm always going to keep it 100% real on this channel regarding the economy and the real estate market. So between the gaslighting from public figures and mainstream media to the corporate greed and the personal greed from everybody spending money so recklessly, this country is in big trouble. A lot of people really need to curtail their spending. Now, when we drill down specifically into the housing market, I believe home prices are going to go through a correction after we get through the election. Now, I know everybody's circumstances are different. Some people can wait things out. Some people need to buy a home right now. If you're thinking about buying a home right now, especially here in the Las Vegas area, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for nearly 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When that time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. I'll see you guys in the next video.